Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Friday morning, wrapping up a good week here on the show and getting ready for a big weekend in the outdoors. Let's take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Drew Pollard's company, Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, keeping us comfortable in these hot days. And speaking of hot, high today on the coast is 89, low 78, water temperature 88.7. So if we round it off, like we learned in elementary school, round it off, I don't think they do that anymore. We could say it's 89 degrees as far as water temperature. Take a look at our river readings, okay? Brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. Looking at Apalachicola Blunt Sound, 3.2's got a little bit of a drop to it, and the Choctaw at Caryville, it got on up there high to 4.7, and it's dropping out now, right around 5 foot, dropping out. Both rivers will be dropping for tomorrow, for the weekend, if you want to get out and get up in some of those feeder creeks and do some serious fishing. Okay, our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Interesting tide today on this Friday, July the 8th. Got a little bump right here, but tomorrow is what was interesting because we got a great falling tide. Look on July the 9th, how it's falling out real quick. That's a strong falling tide. That's the highlight. But next week, wow, look at the tides for next week. Just some super tides, so that's going to be cool. Our wind now be coming out of the west, southwest about 11. It's been that way the last couple of days. A good summer breeze is what I call it. It helps out a little bit, but it's blowing warm air, but it is at least moving around. It's not still and muggy like it could be. And the mosquitoes, I was out yesterday afternoon, and normally I get bit a lot when the wind died down. And I haven't been, I don't know about y'all, I haven't been bitten much by mosquitoes this summer. I don't know if they're taking the summer off or not much of them or what, but I've been surprised at the lack. I've been pleasantly surprised at the lack of mosquito bites. You haven't heard me say that before. Take a break, we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We're going to get started on pictures. I probably won't get through all of them. It's sort of been an accumulation since July 4th, and they really thank y'all for sharing them with us, and then I pick some up myself, and if I see something what I think entertaining or significant, I will show it. So this is significant right here. Bill Dance. I've always liked Bill Dance, even though he has this Tennessee cap on. I've always liked him, but here's what he said. I'm going to remember this. I've decided to cut back on fishing to days that begin with T, like Tuesday, Thursday, today, or tomorrow. Now that's a good one for you hardcore fishermen like some of us. All right. Study shows that teaching a teen to drive is the best way to improve your prayer life. And all of us have been through that. Some of y'all are going through it now, and even as grandparents. But Lord have mercy with the teenagers having to drive now. Okay. On the Choctaw River, okay, here's off the East River around Otter Creek at a downpour. This is John Beaver talking about river fishing over here, and look at here what he caught. He had a few shellcracker and bluegill. The yellow flies were the worst I've ever seen, and it smelled like something was dead in the woods. Probably was something dead, and pouring down rain. But anyway, here's a mess of fish. So that's worth it off the Choctaw River up around Otter Creek and all. Good job fishing right there. And you can see on the tailgate of the truck, that's some healthy looking fish. Choctaw River is in great. Look at that. Is that not a beautiful creek? Otter Creek, okay. We've had Tom Gurley on quite a bit. Tom used to, when we started the show, he was very instrumental in helping us out here at Fox 28. He's retired now. He's going into, he spends a lot of time with photography. And I want to show you these are recent pictures at a state park, but you're talking about, I'm going to go through them one at a time. Is this not some outstanding photography that, you know, deer would be this big at St. Andrews State Park, but more amazing to me is the clarity in the background. I mean, look at this. This is like you think you see over there in Yellowstone walking around with all these massive areas. Look at the quality of these pictures. Look at, is that not beautiful? And this is so important because we talk about in the summertime, why the deer, they feed off this new growth and the leaves and the berries and all, And that's a lot of time why folks don't, you don't need to fool around with a food plot, because there's so much food in the woods for the deer. And there's a perfect example of it here locally at the St. Andrews State Park. Look at that color there. You can see the coat and all healthy and in good shape. Okay, this is interesting. Joe Maxwell, I know Joe. Mac Eubanks, that name right there. Mr. Eubanks was one of my teachers and in high school. Lives in Weewaw now. And Joe's talking about, I'm not one to kill an animal just for the sake of killing it. We talk about this a lot. Had I ran across this fella out in the middle of the woods, I would gladly left him go about his day. Unfortunately, this guy wound up in the front yard, and that poses too great a threat for me and the people I care about. So remind your children, grandchildren, and the people around you to be mindful and pay attention when they're outside this time of year. A snake this size could cause terrible injury, and it is well worded, potentially fatal. And this is it right here. And I've said the same thing over and over again. In the woods, I let them go, but in my backyard, I'm going to do just like Joe Maxwell. So we understand that. Joe Maxwell, Gaston County boy. The doctor asked me to spend at least 1 hour per day on the treadmill. I don't think the doctor meant it that way. Okay. Will Nelson fishing, talking about the Choctawhatchee River. This is interesting. I've heard about this military tank before, and and we have no idea how this military tank ended up in Choctawhatchee River. I am sure it came from Eglin. I don't know if they just drove it off in the river or somebody lost control. It could tell some stories, but that is an old tank. You can see the turret at the top of it. I don't think it was intentional. They might have many years ago, they might have been doing some maneuvers, and the driver headed in the wrong direction. That's right there. Will didn't say if he caught any fish around it. Okay, Robert Blackman. Just read what he sent this to me. Read what he said right here. I caught these 2 snapper under the Hathaway Bridge on fiddler crabs. 2 legal snapper. Now we're talking about bridge fishing and all the things you can catch. Look at those snapper. You don't have to go there like we do, 40 miles out. You can do it. Corey Goodwin from the Funiac. He said, my 8-year-old JoJo, the deer whisperer at St. Andrews State Park. And here he is right there. Look how close the deer are. Isn't that something? Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Corey Godwin from the Funiac Springs. All the viewers up that way. Bob Billsma sent this. The girls are doing it again. Levon Billsma and Tammy Zackrell. Look at the load of shell crackers. If you remember last month, I had a picture very similar. I've tried to get Levon and Tammy both to come on the show together, and they shy. But I've asked them, I said, y'all got so many pictures, we just talk about it ones y'all catch. That's Lighting by Levon. All right, good fishermen. Fisher ladies, okay? I've got a bunch more pictures, and we'll see if we can get some more after this break. So we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We're talking about being safe of all kind of things, sharks and snakes, and July 4th, fireworks and all. And I don't like to show you a lot of stuff off YouTube and all. Every now and then, like a little 30-second spot pops up, and I just think, it's not entertaining, it's wow, did I see that kind of stuff? So this is Heather Taylor, one of our viewers, she posted it, so I pulled, it's 30 seconds, and this is a firework accident. This is not here locally, this is up in Ohio, but it will show you, sort of open your eyes as what can happen when you do your own backyard fireworks. When I was younger, we did it. We don't want to do our own stuff anymore, but anyway, let's see if I can get this going. Okay, here we go right here. So. Okay, here's a family. This is from a Simply Safe camera up in the corner. The family here in the yard. They got that one going by the sidewalk, and then it sort of falls. Look over to the right now. Watch over to the right. See the guy in the blue? Watch this. Boom. Is this not incredible? Fortunately, no one was hurt bad. There were some burns and all. But look at how they just keep exploding. Look at that. Okay, thank you, Tammy, for sending that, and it's really, it's scary when that kind of stuff can happen. So anyway, let me get back to our pictures. I do want to talk about the accidents, and in fact, when this accident happened, the shark attack, right down below Steinhatchee, immediately got a text from Scott Lindsay that said, you said it was going to happen soon. Somebody's out scalloping and the shark hits them. And I picked up the story. It was a dreadful thing. It made national news and briefly, but anyway, here I wanted to read the story to you about basically what happened. Florida, and this is a national. Florida teen who faces losing leg after a shark attack says, "Don't fear the ocean." This young lady here with a brother, she was 17, cheerleader, and she did lose her leg right above the knee. But I wanted to sort of give you an idea. Right here in the center, okay, here, this is, we can all understand this. This 17-year-old had gone swimming at several spots on Florida's Gulf Coast on the 30th of June in order to collect scallops before Independence Day. How many of us do this back in the day? We have a big July 4th cookout. While she was in water 5 feet deep off Keaton Beach, 75 southeastern, she felt a tug, okay? It was from the mouth right here. It was from the mouth of a 9-foot-long shark. And here's in her own words, this one I want to read it to you. "I tried to push it off me and punch it in its nose, but it was like a weird position. Then it tried to drag me underwater." Her brother, Robert Willingham, a firefighter, was just a few feet away in the boat when he saw this shark lock its mouth around Bethel's thigh. I heard a yelp like something scared her. She was under the water, and then she came back up and there was blood all around her, and I saw the shark. Willingham jumped in and helped his sister fend off the creature before putting her into the boat, applying a tourniquet to her wounded leg and keeping her conscious while they raced back to shore. And then her mother talked about, by medical standards, she should not be alive. Here's what happened. He saw, you know, she tried to fight it off. She was in a weird position. The shark obviously was facing her, so she couldn't do much, and helpless. Brother jumped in. He saw it bleeding. And we always talk about first aid and for outdoorsmen. This is a trained fireman, and he did save her life. I read more details on it. He applied a tourniquet on her leg, and then it stopped the bleeding. Same thing happened when we had the situation years ago here on the Cape when the young man was bitten on the leg, and the nurses were right there on shore. They were able to stop the bleeding. So that's stop the bleeding is what you have to do and all. And I just wanted to share that with you about the shark attack. There was one later on, like the next day down below Tampa. It was very like a little bite, but it wasn't bad. So anyway, we just wanted y'all to be aware of those kind of things and all the things going on. Okay, we have let's see. Don't forget the fishing trip tomorrow. I got a call. I think it's filling up, if not already full, but we are looking forward to it and have some video for you. I've got a lot of other stuff to go through. On Monday, we'll get caught up on all these other pictures and all, and we'll go and do that. Let me show you. I want to show you one more. This is interesting right here. Well, let me. I want to talk about it in more depth, and I'll talk about it Monday. Okay. So let's get ready for our drawing. Also, I wrote down, don't forget the food plot. We're going to talk about planting a food plot around July 4th for dove. Around July 4th and all, we always, when we're doing it, we're always able to do something around July 4th so everything will be ready. Dove season will open on September the 28th, which is a Saturday, and so you want to go and get some millet, brown top millet in the ground if you can. So my nephew Matthew was able to do it. We haven't done it the last couple of years because of various things and not getting around to it, but we're doing it now. So if you're planning on a big dove shoot, go ahead and do it. All right, here's our drawing. We want to take a look at we had a great shrimp boil down at the Cape for July 4th, like we always do. I want to tell you how good those shrimp are. I always run by Tarpon Dock, get 10 or 15 pounds of fresh shrimp, and everybody just talked about how good and fresh and how delicious the shrimp were. So if you get a chance to go by and get some seafood, run down there and tell them you're a Panhandle Outdoors viewer. And now if you win, you go down there anyway and get a little bit of extra stuff. All right, here's the $20 gift certificate going to Brenda Childry. Brenda Childry. I always often think what I'll give for $20. I just don't know. I'd have to go see what's fresh in the case. All right, here we go to Big Red Snapper, all the way from Alligator Point, John McCarter. John, congratulations. Okay, we're gonna get set up for our famous Friday fishing forecast. All kind of cool things happened this week, and July 4th report from all kind of folks, and also we'll take a break and get set up. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back and welcome to our famous Friday fishing forecast. First, and I meant to do last segment, I want to give you a report on what's going on at St. Joe State Park because I know a lot of y'all go down there, and we're down there for the 4th. It's 4 days down there and got to spend some quality time, but I always run out to the park. Well, and my pass had expired. I had to get it, but I would recommend getting a year pass if y'all use the parks at all. But I've got a lowdown on the schedule and what's going on, okay? Okay, here we go. Number one, they're about ready to open the parking lot, okay, which is going to be across the sand dunes where the campground is. They're going to open up the parking lot first. It looks like they're going to be ready to do that shortly. That was number one. Number two, they told me the bathroom over there should be working order soon. I don't give any schedule soon. Number three, the campsites. They put it back and put it back and put it back. Guess what they're telling me now on the campsites? Because everybody thought it'd be this summer. Now they're saying next April will be the campsites. But here's the kicker. This floored me. And they said, sir, well, they sort of know me. Some of them watch the show. Coach, we're going to the state park system now. We're going to be charging $5 to launch your boat. Now that don't sound like much, but that just floored me. I said, even if you have a state park pass, it's still going to be $5. Even when you pay your entrance fee, you want to launch your boat, you're going to pay $5 extra. I said, they can't do that. That's un-American. We used to joke about doing things un-American, but now it's just shocking they're doing it. So I think the whole state park system is charged $5. It's crazy. Words can't describe it. So anyway, let's get to the fishing report. I put the 3 B's down: beach, bridges, and bay, and then we're going to hit fresh water. On the beach, first thing I wrote down is shark. Be careful of sharks. Don't wade out chest deep right now. There's a lot of sharks out there. I hear it over and over again. I don't want to dwell on it. But the water now is absolutely beautiful. It is clear. We saw it ourselves. I've seen all kind of pictures. The water, beach water is really clear, but that does not help the fishing. The biggest thing going on, I mentioned this last week and the week before, tarpon fishing has been just incredible. This has been the best year on tarpon, I think, ever for folks to know what to do. I'm going to talk about it on Monday's show about our tarpon fishing heritage way back 100 years ago, how it's been up and down. I'm going to show you some pictures, but tarpon fishing has just been spectacular. The bridges, you just saw the pictures, catching red snapper under the bridges, black drum under the bridges. You can have a shade, you can sort of sit there on the bridge fishing. It's just great. I hope they don't get to start charging us on bridge fishing. That, it sounds crazy, but if it sounded crazy, they're going to charge us to launch a boat in a state park. So that may be coming. These cities might see another way. These governments are something else. But in the bridge, okay. Also, try to catch some fiddler crabs if you can and fish with them. That's what Robert Blackman caught his over there. Same way, if you can fish over there on Choctawhatchee. Okay, the bay. First thing I wrote down on bay fishing, flounder. Flounder. You saw a picture 2 days ago. Really nice flounder being caught. They're moved in now. They're in that summer pattern. You want to get them on those ledges. You can catch them or gig them. I'd recommend catching them this time of year if you can, early in the morning and late in the afternoon. Trout, the trout bite. It's been wrote down early on that high tide. Okay, they're going to be in those flats. Early, if we get high tide, they'll be up in those flats, and then as the sun starts coming up, they're going to retreat back in those holes. Captain Roy and I used to talk about that on a regular basis, and he's caught more trout than anybody, a world record holder. Okay, in Panhandle. Okay, then offshore snapping group, of course, mahi's doing good. Near shore, a lot of bluefish are being caught now. Bluefish are a lot of fun to catch, but they're just jumping all over the place. Not good to eat. If you're somebody talking about eating bonita and bluefish, a high in mercury, number one, and number two, only eat them if you're in a survival mode, don't have anything else to eat. Fresh water. Owl Creek, I mentioned last week, and when I mentioned, some viewers really got upset that I mentioned Owl Creek. Folks have been fishing in Owl Creek since Native Americans have. I know my dad fished it in the 40s. I fished it in the 50s and 60s. Owl Creek is not a secret, okay? And everybody knows they're going to bite when the river's right. So all these creeks, all these feeder creeks I talk about, I pick one out, try to pick out a new one, or not a new one, just a different one each Friday. And I featured Owl Creek last week, a wonderful creek. All these sloughs, I talk about the feeder creeks, but the sloughs that go deep back in there, like Beerburn Slough, Humphrey Slough, and all those sloughs, They're a good place to fish now, number one, because you can fish on up into the morning, late morning, because it's shady. Up in those sloughs, you get up on that shade, it's not near as hot. I know some folks now are taking little battery-powered fans and putting it on the boat. They're working good, so staying cool. But that's just a good place to go on Pinellas Creek. I mentioned Pinellas Creek last week. So all these feeder creeks are going to be good. The big river, we talked about the sandbars, and like a bit of Grantham talked about, they're not dredging now, so it's not kicking that sand out. Those sandbars are getting smaller and smaller, except when the river's low. And it's interesting as to what's going to happen. So all along both the big river, the Choctaw River, and the Ocklawaha River, all in our viewing area, are really good. I hadn't mentioned Ocklawaha lately, but talked to some folks who had fished it at our family reunion last week. Talked to some folks who've had some good luck fishing Ocklawaha. That's my old family, and yeah, everybody's welcome to fish Ocklawaha. It's open to everybody. I've got folks, it's getting crowded out there. If you're going to surf fish, do it early in the morning and get out there by 9 or 10 o'clock and let the kids have the beach. Okay, you have a great weekend. Enjoy the outdoors. We appreciate your viewership. Do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.